Okay, on the 20th of November 2017, Trump made an announcement. He put North Korea back on the state-sponsored terrorism list. That they'd been removed from that list by George Bush back in 2008. So I'll talk about that in a minute. Just listen to just a little bit of this lyrics of this song, "We're in Trouble," 2007 by Chris Geo.
When you realize the difference between...
Hang on, I'll start it again. So this is George Bush speaking. George W. Bush.
It's quite comical, actually, when you realize the difference between reality and what some people are talking on TV about.
You took the mark of the devil just so you can eat and breathe. Bow down at the feet and surrendered liberty. Tyranny and terror, corrupted dictators, posing as your leaders while they poison every leader. Pumping fluoride in the water while they rape Iraqi daughters. Dumbing down the public, fashion magazines and fodder. Now they slaughter weaker nations. Faulty explanations, selling fear to the masses. Terror level elevations, revelations is unfolding right before your eyes. Wake up, been a FEMA camp, drugged and hypnotized. Ford Prike's taking over while you focus on your bling. But I bet by this point you haven't heard a damn thing. It's destruction by design, prophesizing every scripture. Take a big step back, see the whole picture. A distraction of the mind to keep you living in a bubble. We're in a lot of trouble.
We are in a lot of trouble. Now, listen to what Trump said on the 20th of November 2017. Trump calls for North Korea state sponsor of terrorism and adds more sanctions to North Korea.
As a state sponsor of terrorism.
Trump says the US is designating North Korea as a state sponsor of terrorism, returning the country to a list it was removed from under George W. Bush 9 years ago. The move will hit the regime with more sanctions.
Today, the United States is designating North Korea as a state sponsor of terrorism. Should have happened.
Let me just add, America, Washington, D.C. is the greatest state sponsor of terrorism, destabilization of nations, genocide, wars, and the military-industrial complex has infiltrated, taken over for decades the world and its countries. So the greatest terrorism advocate in the world is none other than Washington, D.C. and all past administrations.
A long time ago. Should have happened years ago.
Should have happened a long time ago. Should have happened years ago that we added North Korea back to the state sponsor of terrorism list.
Designation will impose further sanctions and penalties on North Korea and related persons and supports our maximum pressure campaign to isolate the Murderous regime. Tomorrow, the Treasury Department will be announcing an additional sanction and a very large one on North Korea, and this will be going on over the next 2 weeks. It'll be the highest level of sanctions by the time it's finished over a 2-week period.
All right. So from the 20th of November to around the 6th of December, 2 weeks of the highest sanctions ever seen on North Korea. And then what? Then what, Mr. Trump? Diplomatically, Trump has done all that has been required of him to do. Rex Tillerson went to China to speak on behalf of America in what they would do with North Korea. And Trump tweeted, "Stop wasting your time, Rex." Now, Trump went over there to Asia for his 12-day plus trip. And he done his diplomatic duty to bring nations together as best he could for the next stage of the North Korean saga. Now he's back on the 14th of November. And then on the 20th, what does he do? He does this. He signs this back into law, that state-sponsored terrorism list that is not sanctioned by the United Nations, is only recognized by Washington, D.C., and puts North Korea back on that list. Okay, so diplomatically, Trump has done all that is required of him so that he can look righteous, or look at least in right standing in the eyes of the world, when either America gets false flagged and they blame it on North Korea and then they engage North Korea in a military conflict, or they just go outright preemptive strike on North Korea and start the ball rolling that way. It's coming, folks, because this 20th of November 2017, from 9/11 in 2001, marked 2 months, 16 years, and 9 days from 9/11. 216, 216. 9 days is 216 hours. I'll write this in the blog underneath. Trump said this should have been done days, years ago. No, Mr. Trump, everything is done to the number of his name. 216, number 666, the beast system. And like, this is gold, because this is just like one of the final warnings that you're going to get, final actions by Donald Trump to diplomatically engage North Korea, and all the while saying, oh, North Korea must disarm, must get rid of their nuclear weapons and their missiles, and totally be under subjection to the United States. That is never going to happen. No country, sovereign country, whether they're right or wrong, in their right mind would ever agree to those terms. And the countries that haven't done that, like Syria, Lebanon, Libya, and Iraq, we all know what happened to them. Okay, Assad's still in power, Hussein's dead, and Gaddafi's dead. And there are a whole long list of other countries that Washington, D.C. infiltrated, gave them an ultimatum, and then invaded and killed with genocide, and in most cases removed the leaders of those countries. American imperialism is the real act of terror here. The one actor of terror, the greatest actor of terror in the world, is the United States. The United States! Washington, D.C. Thanks for listening.